Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
H.E.R.
What's up?
Good morning,
Good
Her.
morning,
Good
Her.
morning.
How are you?
I'm good. It's bright and early.
It is. You don't like getting up this early?
I'm not a morning person, but I just came back from the UK, so I'm good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What time do you usually get up?
What time
What the hell?
I had two different thoughts. But
I don't know, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. It depends on the day. I'm like always in the studio late night, so I'll be getting home like around this time.
Gotcha.
Performances at night, of course. You gotta
Right.
get your sleep. I was wondering if you were ever gonna make it up here, so I'm excited to have you because I'm a big fan of your music.
Thank you.
So I got a chance to see you perform at Black Girls Rock,
Dope.
which
dope.
was nice, and you've been winning all kinds of awards. I saw your billboards in Brooklyn and everything.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Like right when you enter Brooklyn, I'm like, wait, I
Yeah.
feel like the queen or something.
So congratulations to you because you've been having a phenomenal past couple
Amazing
of years.
year.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy, honestly.
I see you brought your guitar with you, too.
I
I see a lot of
that
interviews.
wasn't
you got
for
the
us.
guitar.
know.
That wasn't for y'all.
No, it's
Oh,
okay.
that was for Elvis? That was...
Damn, we can't get some
I
guitar.
see the guitar in the corner.
Listen, I'm always ready though. I'm always ready.
So how many instruments do you play?
I play mainly guitar, keys, bass, and drums.
Damn.
Now, let's start from the beginning. A lot of people don't know. How did you get into the music industry? I know you were signed at like the age of 14. How did
Yeah.
you start? How did you get into the industry?
Man, I mean, it's a long story, but I've been doing music for a really long time. My dad was a musician just for fun. And I was singing as a young kid, and things just happened the way they were supposed to happen. The stars kind of aligned for me, and I was doing meetings and stuff at a very young age. People saw me, singing and playing Alicia Keys songs as a young girl, like on YouTube and stuff. And eventually I got signed to RCA when I was 14, and, I had the time to develop and figure out who I was as a person and grow into.
They held you that long? 'Cause
Yeah.
most
Absolutely.
They would have dropped you.
Oh, pretty much. I mean, when you're 14, you don't know who you are yet. You don't know even who you want to be. So
Who's seen the talent that early?
Man, I mean, my parents, number one, but there were so many people. MBK Entertainment, they built Alicia Keys' career. Jeff Robinson is my manager. He kind of gave me that creative space, and we were kind of like going against, what RCA, it was like a push and pull as far as what was going to happen for me. You know what I mean? It was like I wanted to make sure that I was in complete control of my situation, as did, my management team. And so I had the creative space to just figure out myself and figure out my sound and who and what I was going to represent.
Can you really grow as a human at 14 with a record deal? Like, can you really grow?
I mean, I did because I was going to regular school, and then
okay.
I would come to New York for like a week or 2 weeks and record and work with people and then go back to school.
What were you
That was
singing
my
about
life.
at 14?
It's so funny. I wrote a song called Curious. I wrote about people being in my business, like my parents, like stuff like that.
Parents, they weren't in your business. It's called being a parent.
Right, exactly.
No boyfriend stuff, though.
No boyfriend stuff.
But
No
that's some
boyfriend
real things, because sometimes I think kids sound too mature, like when they sing about things.
I agree.
I go back and I listen to like Jackson 5 music, and I was like, what was Michael Jackson talking about? What
I mean,
did
he
he
was
know?
talking
Right.
about his ABCs.
Right, he was.
But he was also had some love type songs too. And I was like, what did he know about those things? So that's good. So you wrote all your own music?
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. I've been a writer. I'm a poet, as well as a writer, and I kind of, they go hand in hand.
And you never got discouraged being signed so early and not really taking off to a lot later?
Absolutely. I mean, after a few years, it's like, okay, when am I going to put out music? When am I going to figure this out? Who am I? What am I going to do as far as my career is concerned? And so when I graduated high school, or before I graduated high school, I'm like, am I going to go to college or am I going to be in this music thing 100%? So there were frustrations there, and watching everybody else that was signed to my management company, it was K. Michelle and Brandy and Alicia Keys and Elle Varner and all these people, and Justine Skye, like all these great artists doing their thing, and me kind of like sitting on the sideline, at their shows, kind of like waiting my turn. Like, okay, pretty soon I'm gonna have music out. I'm gonna be doing shows. I'm gonna be doing this, and I was being patient, and I finally decided, like, all right, I'm gonna just be in this 100%. My parents supported me, so.
What does a teenager know about patience?
Right. What did I know about patience?
That's
I don't know,
rare.
man. I love music so much, and there was nothing else I wanted to do.
I feel like, as a young child with the label telling you should be like this and you should be like that would be hard in your formidable years because everybody's trying to tell you what to be instead of just letting you be.
Man, it is definitely difficult. And that's why I always preach to people, like, no matter what anybody tells you, surround yourself with people that are going to embrace who you are and see the potential in what you can be and not what you should be, or something that is modeled, like something that you should be modeled after, or manufactured into. That was my whole thing. Like, I'm going to just find my voice and figure out my truth and present that.
What made you hide your identity for so long?
I mean, I wasn't so much of a hiding my identity. It was more so like focusing on the music. Like, I didn't want people to know how old I am. I didn't want people to know my, ethnicity, and I didn't want people to like see my face, or have any assumption. We focus on all the superficial things and what's happening now. And I just wanted people to focus on the music and the message. And now people of all ages have kind of taken my music and made it their diary, like, oh, they feel connected to it because they don't know anything about me,
The label had to be against that, though.
You know what? They weren't. At first, it was kind of like, okay, but they weren't. They definitely kind of like helped make the vision come to life. Like, it was...
It was a nice, different type of rollout because we're used to seeing people just, we got to get you everywhere. We got to get you on this remix. We got to get your face on the cover of this. We have to make sure your social media is popping.
Right.
And you didn't have to do those things.
I started off with 0 followers. Like, I made my Instagram page the day that I released my music, and it just grew organically. Like, I really feel like I grinded it out. I didn't want a quick radio hit. I just wanted to do shows and have people fall in love with me and my artistry, and not just one song, or not just one thing, or my face or whatever. I wanted it to be about the music and my truth, my story.
We talk about a lot of the celebrities that loved you and started following you, and I heard you tell a story about the day you spoke to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Now tell that story.
Crazy. So I was 10 or 11 years old. I was like 11 years old, and I met Rodney Jerkins in Los Angeles, and he had a studio in Burbank, and me and my parents went to the studio, and we left the studio. He was telling us about his Michael stories and this and that, working with Michael, and we left the studio. We got to the corner at the stoplight, and he was running down the street. Rodney Jerkins. No, Rodney Jerkins.
And Rodney's big. Rodney is small.
He don't look like, the type of guy who would be running down the street.
Right.
So he...
Damn, you saying he don't do no cardio?
What does that type of guy look like?
Back then he didn't do no cardio.
So he was running down the street. He got to us in the car, and we were like, yo, why is he running? So we pulled over to the side, and he held out a phone. It was a flip phone. He held out this flip phone, and I was like, hello? It was like, hey, this is Michael. I'm a big fan of you. I think you're so talented, this and that. I want to meet you. I was like, what? And unfortunately, it never happened. And then less than a year later, he passed away. But crazy. Me and my mom were like crying. My mom was like, oh my gosh. Like, she was planning on going to his last concert that he was going to have in the UK, all that stuff. So
you had music out at 11?
No, he saw videos of me playing and singing. Yeah.
And then you met Janet?
I did. She came to my show in London. She came to my show.
Did you know she was in the building? Was one of those things like, Janet's here?
I heard she was coming, but I didn't know that she was going to come. And then when they were like, Janet's here, we were all like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Like, okay, act natural. Like, we were all like, what do we do? And everybody was kind of crazy. And I was like playing it cool. Like, hey, what's up, Janet?
You gave Janet a head nod?
I did. I was
Janet
like, hey, nice to meet you.
Janet probably more shy than you.
Yeah, she was very like quiet. But then when everybody left the room and it was just the two of us, we had like our time, and she was like talking to me and opening up a little bit. I was like, wow.
What jewel did she give you?
Special.
Did she give you any jewels?
No, not really. She was just telling me that she was proud of me. She was telling me that I helped her get through her pregnancy.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, crazy. She said, when she was in her
I can see
house
that.
going through it or whatever, she was listening to my music. And insane.
How did your career change when you revealed your identity?
I didn't really reveal it. I mean, people kind of starting to know, but
They were speculating, oh, you know who that is?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I never was like, hey, ta-da, you know what I mean? Like,
here I am, with ghost face.
right, exactly. I mean, you see me a lot more, and at this point, I don't think it even matters who I am, what my name is, or anything, because people are in love with the music. That was the point to begin with, and people are still falling in love with it, regardless of knowing what I look like or anything. So
nobody can slide in your DMs, huh?
no.
Why?
No,
She
no.
not following
Follow
nobody.
nobody.
People be signing my DMs. You know, you get the little requests. Sometimes I
Oh, you be
see.
checking them?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Depends, you know.
Why don't you follow nobody?
Because I'm not really like I don't really be on social media like that.
She
Like
don't want
I'll
to see all that
post-
mess on her timeline.
Right. I still keep up, a little bit. It's on the explore page, but I don't really, people start getting salty, like, why you don't follow me back? Or why,
You can't follow Daniel Caesar or nobody?
nah, I'm just not following anybody.
Do you miss what's the word? Anonymity? What's the word?
Anonymity.
There you go. You know what I'm talking about. Do you miss
Being
people not
just
knowing
say
who you
being
are?
anonymous.
Yeah, you should have said it just like that. You could have said it like that.
Anonymity. Sometimes, I guess I expected this. I kind of mentally prepared for whatever would happen. I'm just happy to do music. Like it doesn't matter. I think sometimes I do. Like I try to be low key. I take the glasses off because if I have them on, then you recognize me and put my hair back, walk around like, wait a minute, and I'm like, damn, like my cover's blown. That's how I felt.
Because to be popping and like people don't know you is the best.
Right.
Like when you got the money coming in, you know what I'm saying? You hear your
Being
song on the
low-key.
radio. Oh man.
Man, I'm low key as low key can be.
We could tell you got shades on indoors.
How do you deal with
Always.
relationships now, though? Because it's different now. Now they know who you are. They know your face.
I don't know. It's hard to know if somebody really loves you for you.
They don't.
You know what?
Not anymore.
You know what? There are people out there.
Nah, you're her
That's
now.
so
No,
negative.
so
Her now.
listen.
That is
listen,
so negative.
The truth.
Listen.
You got to be very, very careful.
Honestly, whatever it is, whatever situation I get into, love takes time. And you got to listen to people and see when people show you who they are, you pay attention, and that's what I'm about. Like just really paying attention because people, as women, sometimes we know we have that intuition, and sometimes we don't listen to it. But I've been just trying to listen to it. So
Have your
I'm
exes reached out and just said sorry for hurting you?
I don't think it was, I don't really have any exes. Honestly, I ain't got no past relationships.
You
I
didn't
would
have
call
time.
them situationships. Exactly.
You was signed forever.
Yeah. there you go.
Situationships?
Yeah.
Plus, you could always write a song about them. It makes for great music sometimes, and things don't go the way you plan.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's my whole thing. When things don't go the way they plan,
You ever
they're
had
supposed
any
to
corny lines like, hey, her, I want to be your him?
yeah, all
There
the
was a
time.
him.
They always do that.
Actually, an artist did come out
I'm
as
talking
him.
about a guy trying to holler at her.
Yes, all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Charlamagne's thinking about his corny lines that he would have had back in the day.
What's the corniest one?
That is the corniest
That is the
one.
one.
That's
You
the
hit it
one.
spot on.
You hit
You
it right
came up
on the
with.
nose. Right.
How do you respond to that?
I don't respond. I just be like, oh, okay, all right.
I can't hear out of the side of my head.
What made you name yourself after a whole pronoun?
So it's kind of a long story, but when I was, 15, 16, I used to, look at other women, my high school or my big people I consider my big sisters, and I would say, I'm never gonna, make the mistakes that they're making. I'm never gonna, fall in love with this guy and fall for the wrong guy and all this stuff, right? And I became her. I became that
you
girl.
are.
So, we all kind of have her within ourselves.
Plus, we have to go through things on our own sometimes.
Absolutely.
You watch people make mistakes and you would wish we could learn from the mistakes of other people. But sometimes
We have to find
you're
out.
in something and it doesn't, you're like, how did I get here? But
Exactly.
I'm here.
So it's like you got a little bit of other women in you, so to speak?
I mean, I would
Like
say
I am her, kind of?
right. So we all, as women, when we're, even from high school to adulthood, we experience similar changes.
We have shared experiences.
Right. We have feelings. We've all fell for that wrong guy or that guy that was no good, and we knew he was no good. So it's just that connection that all women have.
It's kind of like the movie Us a little bit, too. Like
Exactly.
Like you're seeing yourself in
Right.
other people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you
That
like that
was
movie?
her. Yeah, I love that movie.
Me too, man.
dope.
Why people act like they didn't like it?
People acting like, no, they don't.
Some they acting like they didn't get it.
I got it.
What was your take on it?
My take, well, I think it was a movie for us. I think there was like a hidden thing in that, like for us, as people. But I just thought it was a dope twist. I mean, it was like suspenseful.
Yeah, I thought it was a movie about classism. And like, you should always see yourself in the less fortunate or the poor and disenfranchised.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what I think it was.
What is your favorite movie?
I don't really have like a favorite.
You like
movie.
romantic movies? You
I
like
do. I like Matilda is actually one of my favorite movies, honestly, from my childhood. Yeah. But I like all movies.
These guys would say The Lion King.
Nah, Coming to
The
America.
Lion King, Coming to America. Okay.
And when do we get some new music? When we getting the album?
Soon. I'm working on it right now.
The debut album. So what's your? How do you focus
Hold on,
on
this is
the
your debut?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was all those
EP?
other projects?
I mean,
That was EPs.
there were EPs. Everything that was happening was so unexpected. Yeah.
Jesus
I
Christ.
literally
amazing.
dropped
Yeah,
it.
it's amazing that you could just put out music like that though nowadays. Like it
Right.
doesn't even have to be, here's my first album. You put out EPs, tease the people.
I mean, you have to. But then you get you get forgotten about. People forget about you so quick when you don't release music like all the time, you know?
So what's the difference for you between doing an album and doing EPs?
For me, I'm not sure because people are treating my EPs like it's an album,
Right.
you know? So what I thought was an EP or what I thought was an album is apparently not, you know, what it is. But I'm working on my album and kind of taking an approach as far as like the sound quality, you know, the mix and how many songs are on it, right? The EPs were 7 songs and then I combined the 2. So that makes a difference. But this is kind of going to be not specific to a certain time. I think it's going to be my perspective from young up until this point.
Can you still do that though? Because like your EPs are kind of like your introduction to the world. So can you like go back with your debut and like kind of reintroduce yourself?
I wouldn't say reintroduce, but I would say, you know, just an elevated version of the introduction and, you know, my thought process now and a different approach and just even more honest.
Maybe you understand yourself better. It's kind of like when you start going to therapy and you're talking to your therapist and you understand your feelings a little bit better.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, music is therapy for me, but I'm also 21 and I'm not the same person I was yesterday. So it's going to sound different regardless.
I feel like you've been through so much in relationships from listening to your music.
You know, the funny thing about it is like I really like it's really not that deep, like anything that I've ever been through. But for me, it's always that deep.
It feels deep.
Like it's always that deep. Like I feel everything to like the 10th power. You know, I'm just
What's
an
your sign?
emotional cancer.
Oh
Yes.
God.
Me too, baby.
Exactly.
629.
Oh wow, 627.
629. We feel everything.
Right there.
And it's only
Feel
going to get worse
everything.
as you get older.
Oh boy,
You're
thank
going to run
you.
over a squirrel and be like, fuck. And start crying. I'm serious. I'm serious.
And that's gonna make for great music.
So what would somebody say it's like? What would somebody
Running
say
over
it's
a
like
squirrel?
to?
Why would you want to write about that? You sicko.
What would
It's a bad
somebody say that
experience.
it's like to date you? If somebody that dated you would be like, well, she was like this. She was. Are you a very clingy person? Are you detached? Are you?
I'm definitely kind of needy until like the other person's needy. No, I'm definitely kind of needy. I take care. I take care of the people I love. So I'm definitely like trying to make sure you're good. You know,
You're a
regardless.
Cancer.
Exactly.
That's what we do. You're sensitive. You're emotional. You care about
Very
your people.
sensitive.
But don't cross them.
Oh yeah,
Don't cross this.
absolutely. That's another thing.
Oh God.
People know if
People know.
if anything goes down. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely not one to play with.
And we petty. We always got to constantly check our petty.
I hate to admit it, but yeah, that's true.
What's the last petty thing you did to somebody who crossed you?
Oh, listen. All right, I don't know. No, I'm not even.
You're from the West Coast, so just make sure it's legal.
You know, right?
Just make sure it's legal.
No, I don't know. That's
now
a
you
that's a
don't know.
good question. I don't know.
She's too busy to be petty.
I am too busy to be petty. I really don't know.
So how much of the album is done?
It's not gonna be done until it's out. Like I remember before I even dropped Volume 2, I had 2 songs that I replaced like the day before it released. So
Amazing that people could do that nowadays.
yeah.
Well, you performing them as you're doing shows though, right? New songs.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I'm
You
gonna
doing
premiere.
Coachella this year?
I am. I'm gonna premiere a new song at Coachella.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you prepare for that?
Rehearsal. It's fun for me. I love creating my show. I love, you know, getting into the music and that's my favorite part.
Do you feel pressure to constantly feed your fans music?
Sometimes, but I'm constantly creating. So it's not so much of a pressure because I love to be in the studio regardless. I love to make time to be in the studio, you know. So it's not really a pressure as far as creating music.
Is it quantity over quality? Like, yo, I just got to put something out. Just to...
Nah, it's definitely quality over quantity. Like when I'm in the studio, some people want to make a song really quick and make 100 songs in a day, but I'm the type of person like, let's take hours to make this song right, you know, in a day. And if it's gonna take a long time, it's gonna take a long time because every word needs to count.
Do you feel like your 2 Grammys validated you more as an artist, or did you care?
No, I don't think it validated me. I definitely think it was a milestone. If anything, it was for me. You know, I don't know if it's, you know, should change the way other people see me, but if anything, I changed the way that I see myself. You know, sometimes, especially when you're young and you're sensitive about your art, you question yourself. You have your doubts, and you're like, okay, is this where am I doing the right thing? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Am I, you know, I'm really hard on myself. So that was kind of like confirmation, like, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, you made the right decisions, and yeah, just be in the moment.
I see Barack Obama put you on his favorite list in
Crazy.
2018.
And that's another thing that made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right because Obama's listening to me.
Right.
What if Trump was listening to you? How would you feel about that? What if Trump was like, yo, H.E.R is fire? What if he tweeted that out?
And then I would post FDT on my
Oh.
on my page.
We know that stands for.
Nipsey and
Rest in peace, Nip.
right, rest
YG
in
was
peace and
happening.
YG, exactly. Bam.
Oh, you from LA, right?
Well, I'm from the Bay Area.
The Bay Area.
See, people in New York always think California is just LA. You know?
Nah, just Charlamagne.
He just got it wrong.
I didn't know you was from the Bay.
Yeah, I'm from the Bay.
Okay.
Vallejo, E40, Sly,
Yeah.
Mac Dre.
Yeah.
How did Nipsey's death impact you, being from the West?
It's really sad because when you see somebody doing really good for the community and they're gone, it's just like you feel like there's a missing piece. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, it feel weird, right? Like this one hits a little different.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Definitely a bit.
It's like you lost something in the solar system. It's not like just
Right.
somebody passed. It's like
It affected everybody in some way. Just the energy kind of changed, and we all found out.
Sheesh.
Her got to get up out of here, guys. She's supposed to leave 10 minutes ago. I've been
I
ignoring
know.
the label over here tapping me.
He's
well, you
just
gotta
ignoring
go, H.E.R.
them.
Where you, what white
She's
outlet are they
busy.
rushing you
You
off to?
know what? I don't know where we going.
They like for you
See,
to be, they want you to be on time for the white outlets, but they
I'm just working.
breeze you through the black ones. That's what it is.
No, I will always make
She's trying
time.
to do
That's
a
why
lot
I'm
of
still
stuff.
here right now.
But just
Right.
think about that when you go to the next outlet and you in there with all those white people. You be like, damn, they really did rush me out of the black outlet to bring me over
know
here.
what?
Play
You know
guitar,
what?
dance. All right.
Goodness gracious. Well, her, thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you,
Thank
H.E.R.
you.
Good
Continued
luck with
success.
everything.
Thank you so much.
All
Yes,
right.
it was a pleasure. We're so happy. And thank you for your donation that you made to Change for Change. You were actually the first person to call up and make a donation when we did our fundraiser. So
Oh
we
wow,
appreciate that.
That was
that's
her?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Thank
was her.
you.
Oh, my goodness.
Her,
That's
literally.
her.
That was her. All
Thank
right.
you guys. Appreciate it.
It's the Breakfast Club. It's her.